What is content marketing? Is it about posting on social media or on any other platform? Can you spot a good content from a bad content? While other brands are doing it well, why is yours not doing it well? That is our discussion today, the power of content marketing. Hi, welcome to our Marketing Matters podcast. I'm your host, Vicky, and here I'm with my co-host.
Steve,
Yeah, welcome. And just before we begin, Steve, I know the week has been long, so how have you been? And which lessons have you learned this week?
I don't know how you know the week has been long, but what have I learned this week? Um, wow, I guess it really has been long because I'm like, there's so much that has happened. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What have I learned this week? Goodness,
I'm
I must have learned something.
also trying to think.
I must have learned. There's only something. Okay, this week, this is actually an interesting thing I've learned. This week, I've been learning about cryptos.
Mm,
Now, a friend of mine took me to a crypto engagement last week after
mm,
after this recording, not this recording, the past recording. But a friend of mine took me to one of our crypto convention, and I went there very skeptically. I was like, let me hear what these scammers have for us today. And I went there with a very waiting to tell her, this is what I was telling you. These guys are
yeah.
scams. And I left there with so many questions, especially about that space. So in the last week, I have been doing a lot of research on the crypto space. And while I'm not yet invested in cryptos, I think any young person who is below the age of, probably, if you're between 40 and below, in fact, yeah, 40 and below. People think that maybe if you're 30 and below, 40 and below, I think you should be considering the crypto space, because the future of investing is going to be digital. We are in a transitioning period from the old asset classes, real estate, stocks, um, what else, land, money markets and whatnot, bonds,
Mm.
to a space where the digital assets are going to be taking over, and you want to be part of that transition. Not that you allocate all your assets there, but you want to be really, you don't want to miss this wave. Yeah. So that was what I learned.
Wow. Hey, for me, the week has been so long. And I think one thing that I've learned, there's this phrase that people keep saying, you need to work smart and stop working hard as you grow up in the ladder. And I think this week I've tried to do that. I've tried to work smart. Like I've not really, I've been working, but there's a way I've not strained my body to that
Mm.
level where I would feel, I'm not breathing. I need a break. I've really done um, much work, but in a different way, in the sense that I've been able to accomplish a lot, but I've not strained, because there are times that I would get at the end of the week and I'm so tired and I'm wondering if this is what is called business, then you start reconsidering. But I think for me, I learned the phrase, or it was applicable to me this week, that sometimes you just need to work smart. How do you ensure that you're still able to meet your targets, but not like doing so much of the hard work? How do you work smart? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is working
So
smart working for you, or it was what were the results?
yeah, I've actually gotten good results. I've been able
Mm.
to accomplish so much of the tasks that I needed to, and even the deliverables that I have for the client. Some of them, most of them, I'm able to do. Even when I look, I know like there are things like now next week I have a lot to do. But if I continue with the trend where I have to find how to simplify the work that I do and use the different technology tools to ensure that I'm efficient, but I'm not like working so hard as if I am working in the construction industry. Wanasema mtu wa mjengo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the smart working is working for you. And I guess this is a good time to plug in that you also, or we also offer digital marketing solutions for small
Yeah.
businesses who want to
Yeah.
grow digitally, especially if you're running a small business or a small service company that you've been struggling online. Vicky and I can help you at least get started on the digital side in terms of social media marketing, but also we can help you develop your online presence, a serious online footprint through SEO and website development. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Okay, Steve, let's dive into this conversation. We live in an era where we are told, and we also know because we are in this field, that content is king. So maybe you can start us off by just defining what is content marketing, and even as you elaborate that content is king aspect. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Vicky. So indeed, it is one of those buzzwords that you hear every time. Content is king. Data is the new oil. If you're not in this in the social media business or in the social media space, you're doomed as a business. So indeed, there is some truth to that story or that catchphrase, which is, if indeed you are able to harness the power of content marketing, it can help you elevate a lot of things for your business. It can help you elevate your brand. It can help you grow your sales. It can help you increase your engagement with your customers. Now, what is content marketing for those new audiences? Now, content marketing, to be simplified, is using content on the online space. When I talk about online space, I mean social media, websites, news articles and whatnot. Using content on the online space to grow your sales, to increase your engagement, and to grow your brand. So if you are able to use whatever content you have in whatever industry you're in to effectively achieve these three main goals: grow your sales, and whether you're selling a product or service, increase your engagement, meaning increasing your interaction with your customers, and of course grow your brand, which is, in my view, the most important thing you should be doing at the moment.
Mm.
Then we can say that you're effectively using content marketing for your good.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Steve, for the definition. Yeah, it's just as you've mentioned. The dictionary definition is just the art of creating and distributing the relevant and valuable information to different platforms. Like you create the content and then now you distribute them on the different platforms that you have mentioned, like the social media, the website, YouTube. And of course, the content that you create are examples are like the infographics, the emails, the articles, and the like. So, in the era that we are in right now, when we say content
In
is
fact,
king,
Vicky,
yes,
just to take it home,
yeah,
when assuming you run a business or you run a service or you are even employed,
yeah,
when you post something on your LinkedIn page, assuming you're for the employed person, maybe you're
mm,
posting something about a relevant article and you share your thoughts. That is content marketing. Why? Because you're not sharing that thought, that your opinion on an article, because you just want to share. There is an objective or an agenda, and probably if you're employed, an agenda is you're trying to create and to share that content to your audience to show that you are an expert or a subject matter expert in that specific area, or that you are also maybe aware of these trends in your space. So there is an agenda you have when you share that content. Now, even closer home, when you share something on your WhatsApp, I'm not talking about the memes and the jokes that you share. That is not really content marketing, because you're just sharing humor. But when you share something or an opinion about something, maybe you have reviewed, if you have bought a product and you're sharing your experience on that. If you're sharing it so that people can buy that product and you're going to benefit from it, that is content marketing. And I see a lot of businesses, especially small businesses in Kenya, have really embraced using WhatsApp to share their product. I'm just not sure whether they know that is content marketing that they're doing.
yeah, it's so true. Yeah, and even as we talk about this content marketing, we have all been in this scenario. There are scenarios where you posted something, you got zero engagement, or even struggle to come up with fresh content. Like especially when you're dealing with a product that is not very uh, especially the service products, or if it's the people in the service industry, or you're selling like sort of like a few products, so you struggle getting fresh content, or maybe you spent hours to create a content or post or video, and then you got few engagement, and then a different person used the same concept, and then you went viral with the same video, and you're wondering, okay, what did I do wrong? Is it the concept that you are told, when it's your time, or maybe uh, you just are struggling with the content that you put on the social media platform. So what is the problem really? Okay, let's even make it positive. How is content marketing powerful, or which tips can you apply for it to be beneficial to your business? So, Steve, maybe we can discuss this in a positive way. Let's not negate it so much that what is the problem. Let's talk about the positive aspect. Well,
Mm.
can we share the different reasons that sometimes could cause us not get our content work for us as business?
Yeah, yeah. I think in terms of taking it from turning a negative into a positive, I would say one of the ways to be effective in your content marketing, first of all, to me, is relevance of your content, because there's chances are whatever business or whatever service or whatever career you're in, you're not a unique person. You have to create an impression, or create in the consumer here is the in the audience's mind, that you are somebody worth listening to. So sometimes you engage you are the content you share online is too abstract. It's not even abstract, it's too broad. You share a lot of content, and it's hard for me to maybe relate with what you're sharing. So the first thing, in my view, where you could improve as a career person, as a business, is relevant. If you are is relevance. If you are a marketer, or if you are saying a person in the, maybe you're a risk officer, or a person in the risk space. This is for the career people. It serves you best to share content that is relevant to risk people, because you're trying to remember, content marketing, you have an agenda. And if you're in the career space, your agenda is to grow up yourself as a brand, as a risk expert. This is the risk example. So if you're sharing content online, you sharing marketing content is is good, but it is irrelevant to, first of all, your audience, because chances are the people who follow you are in that space. But also, it does not serve your interest, which is to create an impression that you are an expert in risk. So relevance, first of all, relevance to your audience. How relevant is what you're sharing to your audience? Now, if you're a business, maybe your product is to sell, or your business sells just caters for eyeglasses or eyewear. If your product or your content is not relevant to the people who need glasses, then you might lose you will not have engagement, because you are sharing your product or your service to an audience that does not relate to that problem. So in my view, the first thing is your content has to be relevant to the audience. So if you're sharing eyewear or eyeglasses or anything related to that, those cleaning equipment and whatnot, it has to be relevant to that audience. So you have to appeal to that audience, and that will also get into the type of content you're sharing. So that if you are doing something, again, a simple example, like you're sharing uh, eyewear, if you don't create narratives or content that relates to a person who might be having eye difficulties, you are highly likely to struggle with engagement. And an example could be that maybe somebody has in the period when we had COVID, there were the people with glasses were struggling with the masks. So
Mhm.
so if people are, you would wear the mask, and then your glasses will get all foggy. So if you're a business catering to the eyewear people, you would be providing content about tips on how to wear the mask, so that you don't have fog in your glasses. Now that is relevance. So I've tried to give an example. If you're in business, or if you are in employment, just to ensure to help it come down to, or for you to understand that content marketing is not only for businesses. Even if you are
Mhm.
in employment and you want to scale your career or grow your career, inwardly or outwardly, you need to also engage in content marketing. But the first thing is relevance in your content. If you are a risk person, don't talk about marketing. And if you're talking about marketing, be more like a passive engager. Like, share, comment, but it will not be your core posting on a regular basis. Same if you're a business, share content relevant to your audience. Don't be a person who does eyewear talking about cars.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Even as you're just mentioning about sharing content that is relevant to your audience, that just makes me merge with what I had in mind, knowing your audience. Because when you know your audience, now you'll share the content that is relevant to them. And even as you share the content that is relevant to them, is it relatable? Like, look at the language they speak. Are they people in the corporate sector? Are they people in the streets or in your local area? So use a relatable language to be able to make the information that you're sharing with them relatable to them. Do you know their struggles in the first place? When you're creating the content, it has to be something that is solving either a pain point that they have, is something that maybe the customers are interested in, or it's something that the customers need at that particular time. Do you know the struggles? What is frustrating them? And what are they looking for in the online space, or what is their need? That will really help you create the relevant content that they need. So create time to research the content that after knowing your audience, you need to create time to research the content that will really be beneficial to your users. Focus more on the user or the customer as opposed to yourself as a company. Use more of the we help solve your problem, such kind of information, as opposed to we are a brand that does that. We are a company that deals with what we focus more on. You as a customer, we are reaching your needs. We are focusing on you. We help you solve this problem. We help you increase efficiency. So that really helps you um, ensure that you are able to reach your audience in both relatable and relevant information.
Yeah, that's very true, Vicky. I think another thing that I
Yeah,
would say in terms of how to make or how to stand out in the content marketing space is quality. I don't know.
yeah,
Like, TikTok has made people, in my view, TikTok has made people think that quality doesn't matter in terms of content marketing. And I dare say I disagree. TikTok content is, in my view, relevant for people who are seeking entertainment. Like, I want stories about, this is what happened with the political scene. So you're giving me some sort of an insight, or not even an insight, an update, or there's gossip happening. So whether you are in the kitchen, or whether you are at the streets walking, that is okay. So that doesn't matter. But there are some specific types of products, or solutions or services that quality really matters. And if I am sharing, if I'm doing content, and because I love cars, I'll use an example of a car company. Now there's this a luxury company that sells second-hand cars that is called Muscadi Cars. Now there's a way people do content online, selling cars, and there is a way these guys do sell cars. These guys are targeting a high-end niche. So you'll notice the way they do their photos. Like, it is hard for you to to find a problem with their photos. The way they place, or they lay out the content, the way even they deliver that solution. It can be Mascadi, and I don't want to to name another company selling cars. They sell the same car, but chances are, I, as a consumer, because I also love good things, as a consumer, I would likely gravitate towards the Muscat, because there is a way they deliver that content that makes it feel like it's a luxurious, it's an aspirational product. So, in terms of creative quality, I really would like to urge all our audiences that whether you are selling mtumba, or whether you are selling high-end cars, there is a way that your content should stand out. In fact, I dare say, if you are selling mtumba, when you're when the output or when the quality of your content is looks like it's more what's the word, when the quality of the content stands out from the rest, it also helps you increase your sales. How does this work? And by the way, when I talk about quality, some people are wondering, okay, how does quality apply? People are only imagining video, but when I say even video, quality is not that you're taking with a 1080 pixel camera or the best high-end camera. I'm just saying that if you're doing content about, say, an example of the financial space, you're giving guys advice, content marketing, like we said, you are sharing content with the objective of maybe getting a sale, growing your brand, or doing what. So assuming you're doing content for finance solutions, you are selling insurance, it does make sense that when you are sharing that content, probably you are in a scene that does not look like it is an insurance, like you're trying to sell a car insurance, but the way you're presenting that content is like you're in your kitchen. It was an afterthought. So chances are people will listen to it because maybe you might be funny, but they are not converting. Also something that social media has led people to believe is being famous also leads to conversions. Very many people are famous and they can't convert, and that's a very big problem. When you're in business, your goal should not be, to be famous. Your goal should be to every post or every content you do should lead to a lead, which leads to a conversion. So if you're doing content again on TikTok, on LinkedIn, and you are a person in risk, it helps if when I talk about quality now, in this case, if it's content on text format, maybe it's a blog, maybe it's a post, a written post on X and whatnot. The quality here is, does your delivery look like it's well thought out? You can have a one paragraph post that is packed with information, data, that is packed with well thought research, or you can have 5 paragraphs that is just full of, we call it a word salad. You have just mixed up words just to look intelligent, but the audience has gotten nothing out of that conversation. So quality is both in terms of how you deliver that product. It can be your background needs to look professional, especially like I've said, depending on the product. Your background might need to look professional. Your audio should be audible. Your speech should be professional, or the language you use should be professional. It could also be that if it's now in prose or in text, then you should also create make me want to read more by likely adding data, using proper language, and driving your point home in a succinct manner, not just a word salad with a lot of AI generated content, so that you have content but nobody ever reads it. They just like it because they're being nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, the quality aspect is very key, because especially now when everyone is on the social media platform, one of the things that will make you reach so many people is when you increase on your quantity. So you have to create so much content for you to reach out to as many people as possible, because now you're competing on many people on the platform. So the quantity aspect can really make someone forget that you still need to be able to create quality in the process. So there has to be a balance, that even as you decide, if I was posting one post a day and then now I need to post three, how do I ensure that I'm still able to post quality, even as much as I focus on how I can keep up with speed with my competitors? So that is a very good point, and it's indeed true. Um, uh, Working on whatever you're displaying, if it's a poster, is it giving the right information to your audience? When someone reads your creatives, are they able to get, this is what you're saying, this is what you want me to do, these are the concepts of everything that you want me to do and what you want me to act on. I need this, I need to share this, I need to work with this person. So that is what uh, quality means. You have convinced or built trust with the person who's reading or listening to you, in a way that they feel this person knows what he's saying, or this content that has been shared is very valuable to me, that I really need to engage with this person. Yeah, so quality is very, very, very key. And even as we talk about quality, of course, we would just merge it with engaging content. As you create the quality content, ensure that the content is also engaging, especially when you're creating content for the social media platform, the articles that you create on your website, ensure that it's engaging. When someone reads the blogs on your website, does he want to read more? Have you made it in a way that it captures the attention of the user? When someone is listening to your video, have you considered that this person is also scrolling through the different videos that are on the platform? So what would make that person stop and watch your video? You know, when you put a creative, maybe a post or a carousel, what will make this person pause and say, let me see what else this person, this business or this company has. So ensure that you have a grabbing first seconds, the first 3 seconds, of course, they matter. So ensure that you have a grabbing title or have a grabbing phrase anytime you're starting out. Encourage interaction. You know, most of the time, sometimes we fear to tell people, ask a question on the comment section, tag a friend, share, like, follow. Sometimes, especially when we want to tell people subscribe. Like now, I'm telling you, the audience, if you find this information very useful, remember to click the subscribe button, click the notification button that you'll be able to receive the different conversations that we have and even educative content that we share on our YouTube channel. So having those encouraging interactions makes someone remember. When you look even at the bigger channels, you realize that people will say, we have realized most of the statistics will show 40% or 50% of the people who watch are not subscribers because people forget that they need to click the subscribe button. So always encourage people to interact with you. This builds a community, or it builds trust, because people are able to know when I DM them, they're able to respond back to the conversation that they were talking about. So it's always good to create an engaging content, and people always feel part of you when they ask you a question and you respond in public. They feel like, hey, I've commented to this person and they have responded. So they feel, especially when you're growing as a brand, many people just want to be associated with such kind of conversation. So it's always good to encourage the interaction and respond to even the interactions. Then, of course, uh, just as you're creating the engaging content, you can decide to also mix with the trends, the sounds, the trending sounds, the trending videos that are working, but just ensure that it fits with your brand. So generally, it's just ensuring that you're increasing engagement, replying to the comments, the DMs, the inquiries, asking questions, and just using user generated content. Sometimes when customers have asked you a question, you can decide, I'm using this question to create more content. So this content will be more engaging because now you're responding to the needs of the customer. So that is one way of or one tip that I'm sure it will also be able to help you as a business to create content that is gaining more engagement and also more followers, and of course converting.
That's true, and I would like to add to that for because it ties very well to what we've been talking about. You know, you have to understand your audience and put content that is relevant to that audience, and then of course quality of that content. And we've said quality is not necessarily just the type of camera you use; it's also quality in terms of
Yeah,
the content. What are you sharing? Are you sharing relevant data? Are you sharing quality insights that anybody has not read anywhere else? Are you
yeah,
sharing information that maybe is useful to a person, maybe in your career or in your line of business, or in your area of expertise? And then now you come and talk about, engaging your audience, trying to get them to take action on what you earn. And I would add to that when you are engaging your audience, or if you want to be more engaging also, it helps to be creative. How you deliver that content is also, in my view, very important, because like you said,
yeah,
that first 3 seconds matter. So how do you capture that first 3 seconds of whether it's they're reading a post, whether they are listening to you on a podcast, or whether they are watching you on YouTube or any other video platform? So how do you capture that? And you capture that, first of all, most importantly, by being creative. I am sure when you talk about, if I were to ask you, which who is the top person you follow in your line of industry? If you are a business maybe selling cars, there is probably that social media person that you follow in the car space, you know. So if you are a person in the employment space, there is also likely that person that you aspire, not that it might, he or she might not necessarily be in your line of expertise, but they are generally a person who seem to have made it in their career space. And I dare say, if you look keenly at how, if you, because most of the time we consume information without looking at it with a third eye, and that's what I think some of us who are in the marketing space, sometimes we don't enjoy some content because you look at it trying to dissect, is this marketing, is this person doing PR, is this person just cloud chasing? But a normal person will just consume that data, that information, and be like, this content is entertaining or this content is boring. So if you start looking at, if you examine why you follow that person you follow on LinkedIn or on TikTok or on social media, probably one of them you follow for entertainment purposes, but the one you follow that you aspire to be like, or you aspire your career to head to, you will notice that they follow these things. The quality of their content is, whether it's picture, whether it's video, whether it's a graphic, whether it's a post, a text post, it's usually has something unique. The way they display their content, it's like they are so certain of their of their understanding of that product or that space, that it almost makes you feel intimidated, and that's why you even follow them, because you feel there is something I'm gaining from them. Now the creativity here comes in this in the sense that you're merging the relevance, you're merging what Vicky has talked about, touched about a bit about the trending things, what is happening in the space, but also you're also talking about now how 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 does your content make me as a person in, maybe I'm selling cars, now the consumer, how do I watch your content and leave the other content that is also selling cars? And you will notice that if you're really keen at following whatever industry you're in, you'll notice there is a way that that person delivers their content. Others use humor. They'll deliver the content, but in between there is some humor being thrown in. Others use some, what are they called? The alerting language. Like they make it feel like it is the most important thing you ought to have read. Others, others hook you with, this person did this, and this is why you should. These are the 10, and this is very big in X. Elon Musk did 1, 2, 3. Or Elon Musk is the most successful person in tech, and these are the 5 things he did to make him successful. And then they tell you to go to their to follow to read their thread. Now you'll notice most people, they'll rarely put the actual content in the that's the hook. That's what Vicky is talking about, the hook. Now, first of all, even if you didn't want to follow that person, you are very curious. What did Elon Musk do that made him a billionaire or made him succeed in the space? So this person knows you're not really interested in, like, if it were me posting, I know you don't care about me. You're not aspiring to be like me, but you want to know the information I have maybe in this space. Assuming I was in marketing, I would say these are the 5 top strategies used by Safaricom to ensure they are top of mind. I would put that as my header, and then maybe I have a graphic of Safaricom's, profitability and whatnot. Then on the continuing post, assuming it's X, then I can give you every post has 1 point to ensure that you read it till the end. When you scroll that and when you do that, that is interpreted as engagement on the social media platform. Now, if it were a video, the same hook would still apply. It would be like, these are the 5 reasons why you're not succeeding in your career. Probably I don't care much about the person speaking it, but I am curious. He or she has poked something in my conscience, which is, I may not be succeeding the way I want to be. So there's a way you should be creative. And I've said you can use humor, and some people are very good at using humor. I find there is a person in the finance space I follow who uses a lot of humor on IG to deliver very complex explanations. Like, he would talk about this trade war happening in the US and the different countries that they're in, that they're working with, and he would create some form of a skit. Again, creativity. So he creates an impression where it's Trump talking on one side and then China or Canada talking on the other side. So he creates that skit where he shows points being made by Trump, or Trump's administration, and points being made by Canada. And then at the end of it all, then you are to decide for yourself which one works. He could also create an impression where he does other videos that he shows somebody goes to buy products in the supermarket, and now they're wondering, why is this product more expensive than the other? Then he or she is being told it's because of the tariffs. Then they're wondering, how Trump told me, the tariffs are going to be cheap and whatnot, but tariffs are going to be paid by you. So there's a way that he delivers that content in a very creative manner. Now for him, that's his thing. He is creative enough to do that, and he has the resources to sit down, come up with. He's a content creator for that bit. Now you are a person probably in the finance space, but you don't have time to do a 30 minute production and edit it and share it out, but you have information about what Trump's assuming you're in the finance space, what Trump's tariffs will do to the space. Now how you deliver that is what will matter. And I would really like for those who are interested in this space to just ask us in the DM and whatnot, how can I do this for my career? Because it's very hard for us in a short video to tell you, Vicky, this is what you can do. Steve, this is what you can do. Isaac, Robert. It's very hard for us to give you all the solutions you can do. But when you DM us or when you engage us, we can then have a conversation about how do you make that work for your specific area. See what I did there? I have used an interesting story that has made you now be curious about what else am I going to say, and then I've told you that if you want more information, then you can DM me or ask me. So there's a way that you can hook somebody's attention creatively by giving them something they wanted to hear in the first place. Probably you're interested in that trade war happening, and maybe if it can affect your business. And then because I've gotten your attention, now I'm redirecting you to the comments or chat section so that you can get more value. And indeed, as a career person or as a business, when you do that on a continuous basis, chances are, first of all, you perfect it, but also you increase what Vicky has talked about, engagement, and you also get better at trying to play around with your audience's minds.
Yeah, and even as you mentioned about that, I think one caution that we also have to mention is, as much as you're saying we need your first 3 seconds, you grab the attention of the user. Avoid clickbaits. Don't just take titles or thumbnails or something that will drive attention to you, and then in the content, maybe the content is not valuable or it's something totally different. Avoid clickbaits because customers will know you. If you're a business, you're not seeking uh, to just get followers. At the end of the day, you want to be able to make sales, to generate leads. So when you get the clickbaits, of course, you'll have more clicks or people coming to want to watch more and to understand more. But now, when they listen to your conversation and they realize it's not even relatable, or the article that you allowed someone to click from the social media to come to your blog to read, and then they find it's not relatable, then you'll miss out. The person will still not be able to uh, convert to a customer or a potential customer. So ensure that even as you work on the quality and grab their attention, just don't use clickbaits. Have a balance of what is attractive to the user, but also something that is beneficial to them in the process.
That
Yeah.
I have a
So
counter to that, Vicky.
yeah.
I I feel, or I have this view. If you are small, if you're a small business or a small, growing your career, I would say tap into clickbait. However, you should tap into
Mhm.
clickbait, but deliver. Like if you say
Yes. Yes.
Trump's again, back to the story, the finance headline, the finance story about Trump, because that's again, see, we are using relevant content to try to also communicate to you, because that is what is happening in the world right now. Everybody's talking about what Trump will do to this in these trade wars. Now if you're in the finance space, if you use if you're doing a YouTube video and you say something like Trump spells doom for Canada, or Trump's plan to dominate the world. That is, quote unquote, that one can argue that is clickbait, because Trump, okay, maybe he is planning to dominate the world, but that is, you're being extra sensational. However, if they come to your content, to your channel or to your page, and whatever you say creates an impression or is packaged in a manner that actually is not doomsday for Canada, but it creates an impression that it really is bad for Canada should this thing go. Then you have
Mhm.
used clickbait to get views, but you've also delivered on that clickbait. And
Yes.
do you know why people still use clickbaits? Because it works. So what I would just urge you is don't be that person where you overpromise and underdeliver. So if you are going to use clickbaits, then you better deliver also on your creativity in the post, but also on the quality of the and the authenticity of the delivery. As you grow bigger, maybe you get 10,000 followers, 50,000, 100,000 followers or subscribers, then you can stop using clickbait. But I dare say the way the social media space is, you cannot avoid clickbaits if you want to grow. Like you have to do clickbait. Just how you deliver after you've gotten me to your site, then that is what really
Mm,
matters. But clickbait, if you're not
yes.
doing clickbait, nobody is going to come to your channel. You just have to have some way of capturing somebody's attention. And especially if you are a small brand, nobody cares about you, but they care about the story you're going to tell.
Yes, I agree. You have to ensure that you give valuable content. That even if I'm to click the bait, I'm not just being grabbed and I'm not getting the value that I need. Yes. Yeah, so one of the things that I know most people online desire is to go viral. You know, it's it's good to have so many eyeballs, and everyone wants that moment, when you went to sleep. This is what people say, especially the influencers. I put a post, then I went to sleep. So when I went to sleep, I got calls. I started receiving calls, someone telling me, have you seen your video? Those are the testimonies that you hear online. So many people desire to have that kind of feeling where we are human beings and we want we want that it's called dopamine. When you want to feel that good feeling that people are really relating with what I have shared. So it's a very good feeling and most people desire to have that. But as businesses, if we are to talk about the businesses, does going viral really mean profitable? Is it just good to have that uh, moment where you have your photo or your video uh, having so many views, having so many likes, having so many followers? Is that the whole point, or is it always the solution to us reaching our audience in the process? What do you think?
Yeah, for me, I'd say it is going viral is good because it helps you, it shoots up, it helps you. You can in the growth of your digital online, you can either do it gradually or you can do it exponentially. Going viral is the most effective way to do it exponentially, and you go viral through
Mhm.
different ways. Again, you can be sensational, or you can be at the right place at the right time. Maybe you deliver content and then
Mhm.
that content is just what people needed to hear at that time, you go viral. Or you're very creative. Especially if you're creative, usually you will never struggle on the digital space because creativity also adds to the entertainment. People love entertainment on the social space, whether they're looking for serious content or whether they're looking for, just gossip. But if you
Mm.
are able to go viral, your chances of growing your channel increase exponentially, and it also increases your chance when you grow your channel or grow your audience. It also increases your ability to sell. Going viral basically means you have done a content and it has gotten to reach so many people without you putting in any effort. And effort here being, you have not done an ad, you have not pushed it to people, it just grew organically. So you did a creative video about, that Trump situation, and then people found it so funny, so entertaining, that they shared it. It just grew a life of its own. And because of how algorithms work, when I share and Vicky shares and other people share, then it starts the platform itself starts pushing it to people. So you are growing you're growing your presence, both being helped or pushed by the channel, but you're also being pushed by engagements and other people. And this is cheap because you're not spending anything. However,
Mhm.
in my view, you should never strive to go viral. Like going viral
Mhm.
should be a product of what you do. Like I said, if you do content that is good quality, if you do content that is relevant, if you do content that is creative, if you do content that covers the relevant topics in people's lives, one day, one time, you will go viral. Now, there are two ways you can go viral. You can either just maintain that sustenance and you sustain that what we have talked about, quality and whatnot. And like I told you, the different people have told you, like you'll find one Mascadi video in 6 months, one video has gone viral because maybe they did a car that car
Mm.
something happened to a car in that category, and people now wanted to know about that car, and that video went viral. Or there was something in that car that went wrong or went well, and people suddenly, even 6 months later, they go back to that video, and it makes it go viral. Another way to go viral
Mm.
would be to every month or every video you do, to just create some sort of flamboyance. Now I'll give you an example of
Mhm.
how you can go viral every every post or every week. The most effective way to go viral every time is to be controversial.
Mm.
People, when you have a contrary opinion to what people believe, that urge to bash
Mm.
you will make your content will go viral. So let's say you do a content again. These are simple examples, and like I said, we cannot do an example for each of all of you, each of your product or service, your careers. But when you engage us, we can help you with this service. That's what we do on a daily basis. Now, again, in this car space, you can go viral by you can simply just go viral by saying, you know what, hybrid cars are a scam in Kenya. Now, there are people who have hybrid cars and they know they're not a scam. So when you do, again, you've seen tying all these things together, you've done clickbait, you've been creative. Maybe you say, this person, these are the cost breakdowns of having a hybrid car. So hybrid cars are a scam in Kenya. Now, people will come to your platform and start saying, I have been having a hybrid. Somebody will share to their person so that they can also comment. So that helps you go viral. It's controversial. It's not necessarily bad, but you have to also have your facts right. So that when you go viral, sometimes you go viral and then the virality is not useful. It's just people bashing you. But you can go viral, and
Mm.
when you divide people when you polarize people, that's what I was saying, controversial, you go viral. Now you can also engage in what one of the known people in the space was also doing. And this, I'm sorry, but I think this will take me down a rabbit hole, because I see a lot of car content, and I just see a lot of people doing things very right that most people are not doing. Now this is another way that people go viral. There was this young guy that people have been talking about, Cairo, and that whole debacle. If you notice how Cairo was going viral in his content, was, first of all, Cairo understood that when you create a brand is more powerful than even a business. Like when you create a brand, people buy into that story. Now, why was Cairo going to be headed to being the biggest, car seller in this country? Was because Cairo had created a narrative around him, that he first of all knows so much about cars, but also he has a flashy lifestyle. So people, when you are a content creator, if it's a business, even that lifestyle that you have could also be part of your content. So when he was sharing his content, he was sharing his flying outside, doing deals with other people. He's sharing luxurious cars. He's driving luxurious cars. He's sharing his house. He does random videos about different topics. All that come into that sort of virality. But do you know the problem with that is all that requires money. So the first one you're doing controversial topics, or you're doing what we call what's the word? You're doing content that is sensational, or that is against the grain. So people will naturally just want to bash you, and that can go viral. The other way is spend heavily on your lifestyle or on the business's lifestyle. Now it is rumored that that business spent at least 500,000 a month. Now, if you are a business and you're able to sustain a
You.
marketing budget of 500,000 per month, sorry, if you're a business and you're able to sustain a budget of at least 500,000 or even 100,000 a month, it is likely that you can have content every month that goes viral. Why? Because the content that is going viral because you are adding the controversial topics, you are showing a flashy lifestyle, and maybe your quality is also improving. Another way that I've seen also car manufacturers going viral is doing something out of the norm. Now, there is this car channel that I follow very religiously. Now, what they do is, there are two ways they do it. One of them is they'll review normal cars, and then once in a while they review the high-end cars that most of their audiences will never buy, but they're aspirational cars. So that makes that content go viral. Another way is they go out of their way to just do content, like probably Vicky, you will not watch a car review, right? Video, because maybe it's not your thing. But once in a while you'll find this guy, like the most recent video I watched, he did a review where he helped his mom buy a car. Now, interestingly, because the mom is an old person and she's a woman and whatnot, there is a way that that content resonates now with a bigger audience, because first of all, just they do crazy things. They first of all they're buying the mom's car, but they're buying sports cars. So there's some like it's a contradiction, because an old person, fast car, but because it's first of all the old person and she's reviewing a fast car, and the way she reviews that car like a layman also makes it more entertaining. So that video has
Yeah.
gone viral. I think by now it has 2 million views, if not more, because he does normal reviews. They do a lot of views because again he follows that thing. He starts with a good hook. He has very good quality delivery. He understands his stuff and he goes with the trends. If people are talking about electric cars, he'll review more electric cars. If people are talking about diesel engines, he'll review that. So um, all that to say that ultimately going viral has its benefits. However, there are several ways you can go viral, and we can talk about them further. But going viral is always a good thing. As a small business, don't make it your goal when you're putting content. When you do these things you've told you, once in a while you'll always go viral, and that's the most effective way to actually grow your channel. It's cheaper, and the audience that comes, you can also grow, sell to them different products and services. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. And even as we talk about the going viral, it's most of the time the major focus is not really to convert, it's to create awareness. When you want to reach so many people at a time, or you just want to grow your brand in a way, so you will create, as you mentioned, maybe a controversial statement within whatever you're offering, not just put a politics conversation and you're selling other things. So something that is related to your kind of business, even if it's not directly related, but something that someone can associate with. If you're in the finance industry, it has to be something related to finance. If maybe you're being scammed, people being scammed on the or when they are taking loans, or when they're in circles, so something that is related. Or you can think of trends. What is trending in the online space? What is the current news that is going on in the online space? Can you be able to convert that current news to fit your kind of business? That can really help you also go viral. But when you're thinking of having that virality moment, it means you're looking at visibility. How can I be able to create more awareness to reach more people, for people to know that this is a product or service that I'm selling, or this is my brand. So ensure that even that content that you're creating is highly engaging, because now you want to get more people to share that content. You want to get more people to comment something that is relatable to them. And at the same time, if you're a business, it has to be something at the end of the day educational. If you're when you're an influencer, when you're a business person, there is a different way of how you handle the content you do on the social media platform. So if you're in the business, everything that you do has to be educative or informative to your user. You're not only seeking to have something entertaining. It has to be something that people would, at the end of the day, think, if they want to purchase your product or service, who do they think of? This thing came out so funny, but I remember that this is a service that I would want to buy or purchase from you. So ensure that the information is uh, entertaining, but informational content is put in the content that you want to take it viral. And of course, you can have a mix of it, that even as you make the content to be viral, you also create content that leads to conversion. Now, after you have the many eyeballs, how do you have people who are willing to pay for your service? How do you make them convert to the to you to have to be customers? How do you convert them to be a warm audience? By ensuring that you give them engagement that, or ways that will make them generate leads to you. Would you tell them to maybe have engage with you further on the DMs? What is your click to action button to be able to allow them to get the service or the product that you're offering to them. So having a balance between the two, not only focusing on how can I be able to go viral, but also thinking, even as I go viral, when someone comes to my social media platform, which are the other content that you'll be able to get or gain to feel that they are I'm the best person to work with in that product or specific product or service. So the winning strategy is you need both. You need to find how you can create more awareness. You don't really necessarily have to go viral. You can reach 5,000 people or 10,000 people, and that is your, it's not like a, because viral moments are always termed as you have more than 100 views or but you can even reach 5,000, 10,000 on a post or or a video, and you have engaging comments like 100. That is a very good um, that's a very good engagement that can also lead you to be able to get conversion. So don't focus on how can I be able to get a million views at the moment. How Focus on this quality content. Is it able to reach as many people as possible who are probably my target audience, who will eventually lead or convert to sales? Yeah, so I think that is majorly what we would discuss today. There's so much that you can talk about content. Content is changing on a daily basis. We have AI that we also need to utilize. We can't fail to mention AI anytime we talk about content, because that is the where we that is the future. So we have to always ensure that even as we don't talk about it in details, just know that you also have to utilize AI to ensure that your content is powerful.
Yeah.
So
Question:
the content, yes,
Does length matter?
does
Length matter
pardon?
in content?
The length of the content doesn't really matter. It depends with the platform that you're using. If you're on TikTok, for example, the length will eventually or definitely be short. It can't go beyond 90 seconds. If you go beyond 90 seconds, people will just watch. But you even when you go to analytics, you'll realize that people most of the time they stop at 1 minute. So you have to always ensure that your content fits the platform. If you're talking about YouTube or podcast, then your content can be lengthened. Again, uh, depending on the users of the specific platform. And then even as you make it longer, for example, you decide you've taken it to YouTube and it's long. How do you make it engaging so that people are able to still converse with you or listen to your video until the end? If it's a 2 hours long video, I've watched 2 hours long video and I've enjoyed, meaning they were very engaging in the process, or the stories were so interesting, or it was very educative and I needed to get the insights. So it depends with the platform, and also it depends with how you're engaging the content to ensure that the people who are listening to you are able to listen to you to the end. If you're talking about articles, then it can be a lengthy article, but people most of the time scan through the article. So how do you ensure that people, when they scan through the article, they're still able to benefit by maybe including videos, including images, including infographics, just ensuring that everything that you do on the platform is interactive. And even as we continue with the AI and many people in the social media platform joining, concentration span is becoming like a problem. People are getting so much to watch. I've even realized, like for me, I've downloaded so many videos, and even watching is taking so much time for me to be able to watch all of them. So how do you ensure that you're still able to deliver your service or your information without necessarily also taking so much time? Because again, eventually to reach a point where people don't have time to just watch you alone, we have so many people on the platform who are also giving valuable information. So you just need to balance even as you do the content. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true. But then I guess you're saying then content does matter. Length does matter. For me personally, I hate I hate long LinkedIn posts. I hate long LinkedIn posts. I hate long X posts, and I suspect 80% of the audiences, or if not more, hates that. But people try to do what we call hacking the algorithm. That there is this view that when you do a lot of content, the algo, you can put your, those keywords, and the algos will benefit for you. I would say just try to be authentic. Nobody, let's be honest, nobody reads those passages that people write on LinkedIn. Like, it has to be really, really engaging for people to have time to read that. Like you said, there is so much content out there, and the concentration span for people. Remember, the guy who is watching TikTok for 1 minute is the same guy coming to LinkedIn to read your post. So you cannot imagine that this guy is more interested in your career growth or career ideas here more than they would be if you had a video of 1 minute. So I personally believe in this new age, do content that is bit-sized or bite-sized, like content that somebody can, it's called snackable content that is relevant to somebody, and they can get that information that you're trying to deliver in less than 5 minutes. If I have to read an article like a story, then I think you've lost me personally. Also, but on
But
the
again,
video,
as I've
mm,
mentioned, is depending on the platform. You see, you're
I think,
mentioning LinkedIn,
yeah, LinkedIn,
but
even
do you
X,
know you can
anybody,
watch?
even blogs.
Do you know you can watch? Have
Do you
you
know
watched
why
more than?
I say that?
Uh,
Because even blogs these days, there is an AI to summarize that content because nobody has time to read. Why would there be a
but
product
but
for that?
but but have you watched a more than an hour video on
Ah,
YouTube?
now these are different thing. Podcasts are different. Like, this one is a podcast. So podcast,
But
even
there are
in the
people who
mind of
are
the
readers.
consumer, even
There
in
are
the
people
mind
who
of
are
the
readers.
they are a small audience. Even in the mind of the consumer, even in the mind of the consumer, I am already attuned to the fact that a podcast goes for mostly likely more than 45 minutes. If it is less than that, that's just a video. So in my mind, I am coming to, and the beauty about podcasts is, you see, I'm not getting, you see, the way we've done this session, we've not talked about one thing for, this whole time that we've been in. We've talked about, it's a big topic, but we've unpacked it into small things. Now imagine if we put this in a text, it would be so long for somebody to read. But a video, somebody coming to a podcast, they're coming to learn about, how do I get better in content marketing. So they are willing to dedicate that time either through video or through audio, when we shall make this content available on audio versions. So length does matter, because on podcast people are expecting that level of length, but on a Twitter or an X post or an IG update, people don't want you to do 15 minutes of sharing this. If anything, again, I don't know if we've done this video before, we can share it in future, where we give guys strategies about how to break down long form content into small form content,
Yeah,
such that
yeah,
you see, this
yeah.
this podcast will probably be 45 minutes to an hour. However,
Mm,
what you'll notice is, when you come to YouTube, you might find the full content, then you'll find bit-sized content. When you go to TikTok, you'll find the contents that we think are more relevant to that platform, and they'll
yeah,
probably not be more than 1.5 minutes. When you go to LinkedIn, you shall find a summary. When you go to our website, you shall find the blog article. So when you work with professionals like us, you are able to then use one content and repurpose it for all your social media platforms, to just ensure that you don't have to now record content for TikTok, record content for LinkedIn, record content for YouTube, record content. All that can be from one recording, and then we help you repurpose it for different platforms. And also, there are so many tools at our disposal that can help you do that. So please, again, engage us on the socials. We can talk about the pricing, but first of all, let's first hear your problem, and then we can help discuss.
yeah,
We are very willing and very open to share those thoughts. But yeah, that's what I thought. And I would hope, Vicky, we also talk about in future how AI is also shaping the content marketing space.
yeah, yeah. So, in summary, content marketing is very powerful. You can't escape from it when you're on the social media platform or any other online platform. And we have also realized through the discussion is content marketing allows you to drive sales without really selling. You just need to offer value and allow people to engage with you through the click to action buttons that you share on your content. So it means you can leverage your content for long term brand growth because of the relationship that you build and, of course, the loyalty that you get from your customers. This has been a very interesting conversation. Remember to like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.